Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with your World of Warships Legends shenanigans for the day. We are on to Brothers in the Tier 6 Z35, the German premium destroyer. I think I was working through premium supplies missions for the week. And like to try and play something a little different here and there, so I don't always use this for my Tier 6 win, right? But anyway, yeah, we're gonna go out to the flank. We're on two brothers. I'm not a huge fan unless I've got very specific ships of taking the fun route, I like to call it, right, which is middle spawn and go up through the middle, especially on capture the base. I would say it doesn't work out most of the time, but occasionally it does. Because you kind of put yourself in a bottleneck, right? Like if the enemy's paying attention, they'll come back and go after, and you'll be a sitting duck right at the crevice there. But anyway, so we'll go out wide. I'm a destroyer. I noticed that this flank on the left side here of the map did not have a destroyer spawn. So if you can see, you can look at my mini map. You can see our other destroyer spawned on the other side, so now we've got a destroyer on each side. It was kind of my thought process. We'll do some spotting and cover this flank and provide the destroyer power over here on this side, right? So we'll keep moving up. We've got our, twist and track or perceptive halo, right? So we kind of know where the nearest guys are. We do get a little lucky here. We've got a couple of battleships, which is always, of course, nice as a destroyer player. And then we get a Benson spotted, and this is going to be where the Z35 really does shine. We did have a little bit better concealment than him, so we spotted him before he spotted us, so he is just now picking us up. And then, of course, the sonar is 5-kilometer range, which is pretty epic for the tier, so we can drop our smoke and trip our sonar and have just full, unrelenting rain over this guy. We do get help from the, and he's trying to smoke, but of course that's not going to matter. We do get some help from our cruiser buddies in the back, but we're not going to need it this time around just because we've got this sort of overpowering dynamic with the smoke screen and the sonar and him being within that range. But Pensacola steals the kill from us. We do get early detection of his torpedoes because of said sonar, so we don't have to worry about those either. And those early destroyer kills, can make or break the game sometimes. So this gives us a little bit of momentum to start out with here at least. We'll see how the rest of the game progresses. Smokescreen at this point is now a problem because I'm not spotting my the enemy battleships for my teammates anymore. So I'm actually going to move out of it. There's no real point in me sitting here. There's nothing I can shoot at either at this point. I know this Connecticut is technically closer because the twist and track, right, the halo locator is pointed that way. But I think he's kind of ducking in and out of being behind this island here. So, yeah, and he's already going to start reversing here. I'll send the torpedoes anyway, but we'll see what we get out of that. And then Leviathan here, right? Tier 6, it's one of the ships you can get from the Halloween crates, so I'm sure somebody just recently picked that up. I'm not a huge fan of it. I honestly don't think any of the Halloween ships are must-haves, unless it's really something that is into your sort of play style. I think I like the Blazing Dread, but I wouldn't buy it outright for the doubloons that they have it for sale for, even though I do like the Japanese cruiser line, right? So, just something to keep in mind, but yeah, Leviathan looks cool. So we're just going to continue to be patient. This is sometimes kind of how destroyer play can be. We'll kind of keep an eye on this cruiser. He's probably our biggest threat, but he's kind of approaching a 3 versus 1 situation against my cruisers. They've got the battleships in the back that I'm sure are picking up those cruisers and shooting at them. But we got a nice broadside shot on this. This is one of the new Spanish cruiser line, right? So we'll take some AP shots at him, see what we can do with the AP. We're getting penetrations, but no citadels or anything, right? At least not at this range. So I kept the AP loaded, right? We're doing a little bit of chunky-ish damage here, right? It's been worth it. But you alternatively absolutely could shoot HE, right? If you're not sure whether to shoot AP or HE, right? I always maintain, like, if you've got a broadside cruiser, give it a shot, right? Try the AP and just see what happens. But otherwise, like, as a destroyer, most of the time, most people are shooting HE shells, right? Because ideally you trigger fires, and then that way, if you trigger a flood as well from a torpedo or something, right, you would get, potentially have them, force them to use their damage control party, right? I think this Connecticut must have sent his airstrike towards us. Yep, so he's going to have wasted that one. That is extremely easy to dodge as a destroyer unless you're unsuspecting, like sitting in your own smoke screen or something. Right, and we actually are down a ship now. My teammates on the other side of the map aren't having as much success here, right? For the most part right now, we're pretty much just holding these guys back. We're being patient and getting torpedoes reloaded. Not using my guns too much unless there's really that opportunity there, right? Like we had the broadside cruiser, and then of course we had the destroyer right away in the beginning of the map. But other than that, I'm just trying to be a spotting platform, and I'm just waiting for torpedoes to reload and taking some guess shots at these guys. We know Aoba's got sonar, right? So he could, and he knows we're here because he's already seen torpedoes, and we were spotted before as well, right? So he knows we're over here somewhere. So he plays kind of smart and ducks and weaves a little bit here and there. And then I'm sure at some point here, he makes a couple of good dodges on the torp, so I'm thinking he's got sonar going, yeah, like there. Turned into that. He may even just be reacting to where our cruisers are, right? So. But a little bit of patience here. I do fire my guns occasionally to try and draw fire. We're going to drop the smoke screen here. I was kind of hoping that one or two of my cruisers had some of these guys spotted. And when the battleships fire, of course, like their smoke firing penalty is always atrocious. So you're going to usually pick at least the battleships up. And then I know Aoba's got torpedoes, right? And then, of course, if he was getting close enough, we'd pick him up with sonar as well. So I tripped the sonar for kind of both of those scenarios in case he kept pushing up on me. So sure enough, he does turn away, but he was close enough at when we first triggered it. And then, of course, we're getting torpedoes in our direction. So we know to dodge these pretty easily. Early warning there. And then we do finish him off with a torpedo. So now it's just these two battleships. Slow and Steady is going to win the race for us on this game. We'll pick on Leviathan here while we wait for torps to reload. Triggering the fire is absolutely perfect. And we know we've got the Connecticut a little bit closer to us. So I'm trying to just kind of guess based on the locator halo thing. Where he might be, because I'm not sure what this Leviathan's going to do. He's either going to keep backing up, in which case he's out of range, and if he turns in, he looked like he'd probably head straight for us, which would mean he'd be harder to hit with torpedoes. So nothing spotted anymore, so I'm going to back out of the smoke screen to pick these guys up for my one remaining cruiser here. And we big swing and a miss with that first rack of torpedoes there on that Connecticut. We're even up on ships, but we are technically down on points just a little bit. Just because of the ship types that we have left versus theirs. Right, the battleships are worth a few more points and vice versa. See if we get a torpedo hit on this Connecticut finally. Yes, we can. And did trigger a flood there, so that'll force him to use damage con. And here's kind of where I've got, if we've got two battleships here, and if we're going to go full-blown destroyer mode, where we don't go detected, right, they're going to pick on my cruiser 100%, right, because it's the only thing they're going to be able to shoot and see. So I actually do fire my guns here. We've got a little bit of health to play with, so we can actually try and draw some fire from these battleships, particularly this Connecticut. And it works, right? He fires at us and doesn't get much out of us other than steering gear damage that time. The Leviathan did take a shot as well and didn't get a good hit either. Right, so just by us firing our guns here and there, we're kind of forcing these battleships to waste a salvo. Now, if we were too close, right, that would be kind of a bad idea. So we're right at a little bit of a good range here for doing this, for drawing fire. But yeah, pretty much anytime I see them, like, we'll see the Connecticut, right? He just fired at the cruiser. So now I can try and get some cheap shots on him here. And I'm just keeping an eye on his guns, right? If he decided to stay aimed at the cruiser, which, you know, he would have needed to survive, right? He took out the cruiser, right? But was just trying to draw some fire to give my cruiser a little bit more life. And I think I maybe thought of that plan a little bit too late. And so he's gone now, right? But we're still even on ships, but again, still down just a few points here. So we're going to just be slow and steady on this, and it's going to win the race, right? So we're just going to be patient. We're going to wait for torpedoes to reload. I'm going to guess this Connecticut's going to want to head right for the zone, right? Like, they're going to want to push. They don't necessarily have to, but that's just, you know, that's what he looked like he might want to do. So I'm going to send those torpedoes as if he's going to just maintain course there and see what we get out of it. I'm going to hold off firing my guns because that'll give away, of course, our position and might make him adjust course. He might turn in towards us if we fire our guns here because he would spot us. So I'm going to wait, see if these torpedoes make contact. If not, then we can maybe draw a little bit of fire here. He's getting in range of... Oh, man, we split that just perfectly. Dang it. He's going to be in range soon of our battleship across the other side of our base here. So we'll take this shot. Right, we're going to use narrow this time because he's sailing in a straight line. And then I'm going to try and get a sort of cheeky shot here to see if we can trigger a fire or something right as we go behind these islands. Leviathan did take a shot at us. So we'll try and turn out away from that to dodge it as best we can. He did get a little bit out of us, but that's fine. Then, of course, we'll be undetected here. So hopefully those torpedoes make contact with that narrow fire since he, yeah, we're going to get at least 2 there. Since he looked like he was going to just sail in a straight line there. So that worked out for us, and that puts us ahead on points. The other thing, too, you know, the reason for him wanting to get into the zone would be it would stop our team from getting points, right? If your zone is contested even on capture the base, you know, you still get like a +2 every so many seconds or whatever. And so you can see it there tripped on the up above, right, where the points are. That would stop if your zone's contested, right? So then that would potentially give them another path to victory there by just slowing our points gathering down in that example, right? But now we got a huge lead. Well, not huge, but we got a good chunky lead now because we took him out. So that gave us a few more points and took a few away from them. And so Leviathan's going to be coming up here as well. We'll just take these torpedo shots, kind of spread out the racks. We only get 2. So if we can spread them out and trigger floods, like, that's going to be the end of him. 1.5 minutes left in this game. We did, right, a little bit of patience, a little bit kind of, you know, not a super exciting game, but we did, you know, slow and steady was going to win the race, right? We're up to 103,000 damage. We moved back to protect our zone, right? Leviathan looked like he was going to start shooting at the battleship, so I'm going to just take advantage of that. We've still got a little bit of health. We could probably take 1 salvo and see how it goes if we need to. But otherwise, yeah, if he's not even going to bother with us, then we can just kind of damage farm and try and trigger fires before our torpedoes get there. So yeah, just keeping an eye on his guns. If he's not gonna waste his time with us, then we'll just take advantage of that and just keep picking on him. Pretty close with the torpedoes, but no luck there. He did manage to turn into those. We'll send 1 last rack. That's probably going to be it for torpedoes just because of the game's about to expire here. But we are ahead on points, right? So we're going to win this one on points. We do have a destroyer going into their zone cap as well, but it's not going to make a difference here. North Carolina manages to finish him off. So we'll take a quick peek. Yeah, the North Carolina... That's why he was getting shot at, because he is super low on health. So that's, you know, the Leviathan was trying to finish him off to give them a little bit of a points advantage there. But yeah, we'll take a look at the leaderboard as this game comes to a close, and then we'll go through the commander build and how I have the ship set up and all that other fun stuff like I normally do. We are using this this Von Spree guy, right? But 2200 XP puts us at the top there. About 400,000 in credits earned for the game. All right, it's tier 6, so you don't get all 4 mod slots, so I'm using aiming system here, propulsion mod in slot 2, and concealment in slot 3. And then, yeah, the spawn speed guy, right, he works great. It's kind of a mixed build here, right, a little bit of torpedoes, a little bit of concealment kind of thing with the inspirations has been working out for me. Torpedoes here, look at me now here for more concealment. And then I am using Perceptive here, but if you wanted to go more into torpedoes, right, you could pick the reload, right? But that's been working great. Like, I like that because we've got the sonar, you know, as well. So we're really good at tracking down and hunting down other destroyers. And so that Perceptive really helps out with that as well. But that's going to be our video for the day. As always, special thanks to channel members. I know I don't always remember to put your guys' names up here at the end of my videos, but if you're interested in that, check out the members section on my YouTube page. Appreciate you guys for helping me out. Of course, if you are not already subscribed, please do subscribe. Subscribing is free, and once you do get annoyed with me, you can always unsubscribe, right? Appreciate that. But that does help me out, right? So I'm kind of a smaller channel, so I still do notice you guys. A couple new people here and there, and appreciate you. Don't forget to hang out with me on live stream. You guys help entertain me when I'm playing the game. It's always fun to chit-chat with you. And then I try to do World of Warships Legends videos pretty much every single day if I can. So make sure if you are following. As always, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.